What is up? I am glad to be back. It's been 2 weeks since I filmed the video. I felt off since I haven't been filming, but my life had just been busy. I've been busy with all sorts of good stuff, all sorts of fun stuff. But today is headlight day for the old Taotao. She needs one because there's an issue going on. I already diagnosed it, but I'll explain more. Got one sitting over there. Let's get into it. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you'll know I installed this LED floodlight last year because my headlight kept blowing out. So I permanently sealed that in there to solve that problem. And I wired it up to the battery like a DC current. So it goes from the battery up to the switch. After the switch, it goes to the connections for the headlight back down, right? DC setup. So when the bike is off, it will turn on, right? Wrong. It blew out. It absolutely blew out. I already wiretapped it. I wiretapped it with a wire tapper device. I'll show you what that is. From the battery, after the fuse, to the switch, after the switch, all the way up to the headlight. And there is a connecting piece from the switch panel to the headlight where it clips into, and it is even getting power after that switch or that plug where it plugs in, getting power everywhere else from the battery all the way up, but not to this. So just unfortunately, this cheap little $45 floodlight blew out. That sucks. This bike is already black on black on black, and I wear a lot of black as well. So at nighttime, it's a no-go. So that's what we're gonna replace today with this right here. So I'm switching from a floodlight to a spotlight because this is actually brighter than my old one, and it'll focus the light more than having everything spread out and flooded like it was. But this is the same thing. This is the same size as the other one as well, and it is new. I picked this up for 22 bucks actually, so the price dropped by half over the last year. But this is what we need to replace because the problem lies in here. This is what I use to diagnose the problem. It's a very simple device. This is a negative plug right here, a negative clip, and you just clip this onto your battery. And this has a sharp end point on it. It's really sharp, and it'll puncture through the wire. And you puncture it on the positive wire to trace where the power is not going to. And when you get power, this thing lights up with this light bulb in here. It's very simple. It's really handy. It only cost me $3 at Harbor Freight. Good deal. It's a pretty simple setup. We got all the wires. We got the positive and negative running up from the battery up through the terminal up here to the panel, which is back here. It's kind of blurry, but you can see what I mean. And it goes positive, negative, and then it goes to the switch. Comes out of the switch, and that's the positive and negative on the top to this wire here, which goes to the plug. I got power from everything else, from everything from the battery up to this wire here. That plugs right into the back here. And there is even power after this clip plug from the battery. So that told me that the problem itself was this. So this is a 1224 voltage light, and that's the floodlight. And this one is the same thing. This is the 1224 volts DC current setup, but this is the spotlight. So basically the same exact thing, but just a little bit different. This is it. I'm gonna plug this in here straight into that clip because I got power from everything else. And if I see this thing turn on, beautiful. Let's find out. Plug is in. Light is ready. Switch. See? Check this out. On, off, on, off. Yes! It was just the light blew out. Awesome. Next problem, and probably the biggest one. Me being the perfectionist that I am, what I did when I installed this block is I cut out a hole in the original headlight housing here. Square hole to fit this 3-inch floodlight, and I jammed it back in there so it could sit flush. But what I did is I permanently sealed it in there with liquid rubber sealant all the way around. So thank God I didn't take any like really heavy measures to get this thing in there, because now this needs to be taken out to get that new one in. So fabrication. Dang it, man. Quick update on my Vento real quick. Something amazing just happened, and I'm super proud of this. So I went to a car show here, a car swap car show meet, and I walked into the expo center indoors and checked out all the cars. And when I was there, You know, it was a nice, cool environment. Everybody there is really happy and, you know, just really friendly and talkative. So upon leaving, I seen a little spree driving around. I'm like, hey, my two-stroke is out there. You know, what's up, man? How you doing? And he drove up to the expo center, and I just thought back, and I'm like, hey, how much is it to enter? How much is the entry fee? And they're just like $15. And I'm like, can I bring a scooter? Can I bring my bike in there? And they just said, sure, I don't see why not. The drawing is in, you know, 30 minutes for the winners. And I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal. I just want to get it in there and just show it off a bit. You know, I'm really proud of this beauty. Is a little bit different than what some people do. I'm going to draw the first ticket, and what do you know? She did me proud, and I had no intention of doing so. She took third place in a legitimate car show with $100 prize. I had no intention of ever doing anything like this with this bike, but dang, boys, she is actually pretty enough to be on the showroom and take a prize. I think that's amazing. I put a lot of hard work into this bike, as you guys know. I love this thing. It's fast, it looks good, and it's still not even done. I got some tires coming on the way, by the way. I'll throw that in real quick. Those are gonna look good, and they're gonna perform so much better. So, hey, good job, pretty lady. She did good today, man. So close. Bam, just like that. Old headlight off, new headlight in. That was actually really easy. I was dreading that for no reason. I just took a razor blade and cut away at the rubber sealant that I put around there, and I actually have some adjustability up and down with this headlight in there with the swivel arms that I have connected to the bottom there, which there's a nut that goes in just like that. So it's almost like this thing was made to go in here. So I'm just going to seal that up back later. It takes 24 hours to do, but put this thing in here, see how she looks. We got everything snugged back up. We got the wires where they need to be, and I took the time to snip off these plastics here at the edge, so when you turn it, nothing rubs, so it won't cut into the wires, because it was rubbing a little bit, which is good. I saw that. I zip tied this new plug into the spots to keep it nice and secure and out the way. Boom, she's looking good. Switch. On, light, on. Nice. What has happened through the abuse of these roads around my town is the clips that secure to your front fascia and then to the dash piece. And this bike, they have snapped. They have snapped off completely. 1, 2, and 3, to the point where this thing just wiggles around from every bump I hit. It'll roll and rattle, and it's horrible. So what I did is I drilled 4 holes in the front fascia, 2 in the front fascia, 2 in the dashboard to make 4, like this. So I can take zip ties, right, and loop 1 into the top of here, underneath, and through this, and secure it together on both sides for a cross pattern stitch almost to secure this together, and it works really well. I didn't want to do this at first when I snapped those, but there's really no other option, especially with this fabricated hole in there, so it's no big deal. But I actually got to drill them out a little bit more with this drill bit here because they're awfully tight. They are really, really tight, and I just want to open up those holes some more. So I have this drill bit extension piece right here, and it does a dang good job of taking care. This thing does not like to focus, does it? Nope. But you see what I'm saying. It's just like a slotted bit, and it does a really good job of getting in there anywhere, metal, plastic, and drilling out holes bigger. Nice. Yeah. All right. You just want to feed the zip ties through the bottom Well, through the top like this, through the bottom on this, so they stick up at a cross pattern. Same thing with the other side. Tighten it, snip it, and forget it. It's a little bit ugly, I know, but you know, for functionality, and this is really important, it's fine. You know, it does its job really well. Nice and tight. We have lights back in action and good to go. So what I'm going to do, and what I recommend as well, is to wait towards nighttime so that you can adjust the headlight without sealing in anything yet, so you can see where it points on the road down and up, so you can get it just right. So I'm gonna wait for it to get dark outside because I do not have it sealed up in its place yet, but there is some adjustability still. So it's good to go. I'm really happy about that because I have not been riding this bike lately and I miss it. I miss it so much. So she looks good, looks the same of course, but functionality is key. As for the Vento, since you've seen it last time, I did get those new mirrors finally. So I just got some honestly cheap mirrors. All right, they're brand new, but they're Chinese mirrors. You know, it hurts my feelings a little bit, but they're fine. They look good. Functionality is key again, but of course I painted them to match the paint, and they threaded in and they look good. You know, they sit a little bit higher than the old stock ones do, but as you see in the stock one over here had that goofy, ugly, super glued on mirror, and this one was just a mess, would flop around everywhere. So I ended up having to JB weld these into place under here. This disguises it, isn't that nice? But yeah, so I JB welded these into place because the threads were so messed up from the previous owner. But new mirrors on there, she looks good. I can see a lot better. The new tires are on the way, and I'm really pumped up about those. Michelin Street 2s. They are a little bit higher in the front, same exact height in the back, so the bike will sit just a little bit more flush and taller, but that's fine because functionality is key. Because there's a slow leak in that front tire and I'm tired of it. The difference between these new tires though, they're two different tread patterns, which hurts my feelings a little bit, but I mean, it's fine. I'll get used to it. The reason why that is it's a dual sport tire. So the rear has its grip and its stick and its functionality up there, and the front has the curvature in the tread so it can spit out water and take corners. So the two different tread patterns bother me a bit, but they're not even on the bike yet, but they're on the way and they should be here Thursday or Friday. I don't feel like turning the steering column the other way. It's fine. I'm snug under here. But that's going to do it, boys. There's a lot happening. A lot happening with these bikes still. I've been busy lately, but doing good stuff, fun stuff. So this Vento is getting the love and the proper tires and the mirrors and the brakes and all that fun stuff. And then we're going to dive into more performance before the end of the season. We're going to catch the last bit of it because we're already getting close. Taotao is still getting love. It's got to have updates every now and then. But do it. Do that, man. Take care of your bikes. Put some love into them because you'll have them. You'll have them. You'll keep them in good shape. You got to stay connected. But the bikes are done. I'm going to seal that up later on tonight. But it was an accomplishing day, man. I'm really proud of this bike too. Who would have thought that today? I had no preconception of making a show bike, or I do this for myself, you know, but it's a good feeling to know that I did a good job. You know, I put this love and passion into it and I share it with you guys. So hopefully you can learn something and do this on your own because it's a beautiful thing, beautiful life. So thank you guys for watching again. I'll be around. These bikes will be around. Until next time.